Fuller's initially started as a regional brewery out of West London in 1845. It has since spread to nearly 400 pubs throughout the UK. The London Porter is one of the oldest and best received beers the company produces. Available in over 70 countries around the world, how does Fuller's London Porter stack up against the rest? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. What up, guys? Yeah, today we have the good old Fuller's London Porter. Tagline: rich, dark, and complex. People used to tell me that, but anyways, let's get into the review and pop this thing open. I can't say I've had this one before. I've had Fuller's in the past. It's been a while, but let's check this thing out. It is about 95 degrees out now, so naturally, let's dive into a porter. But, alright. And, it is a 5.4% ABV, so not a super heavy on the alcohol-wise with the porter. But, alright, let's get into the smell. As the dog eats or something. There is a bit of the dark chocolate flavor or aroma in there. Not sweet at all. Almost like 100% chocolate. A light coffee bean, not heavy at all. The coffee, just a hint. And maybe a bit of molasses in there too. There's definitely a thicker sweetness, but it doesn't. I don't know if it's going to actually be a thick beer, but it's got like a thicker sweetness to it. Can't tell if there's like a dark sugar in there or if it's just like the molasses, dark chocolate, coffee thing going on. Maybe a little bit of a toffee. Either way, I dig it. I like it. I'm gonna recommend it on the flavor or on the taste. Not taste. The smell. So now let's get into taste. You definitely have that dark chocolate mixed with coffee beans in there right off the bat. Neither one of them are terribly heavy. So you get more of a coffee kind of aftertaste. It's almost more dark chocolate up front, coffee at the back. A little bit of barley in there, not heavy at all. The barley is kind of covered pretty nicely by the chocolate and the coffee. It kind of almost goes a little bit hidden, but you got that, that very distinct barley flavor in there, kind of tucked away nicely. It's not thick. It's very, it's not a thick beer. You never know with certain porters. And you do have a little bit of that molasses kind of on the tip of your tongue. But I like it. I'm enjoying it. It's not, it's not a super heavy porter. I almost find it's more of like a stout almost. You could probably combine, add some little nitro action to this and I think it might take it up a notch. But anyways, I like it. It's real good to me. So I'm going to recommend it on the taste. So next is value for price. And this is, it goes for about what you're going to pay for your normal UK import. It's not terribly expensive. Of course, it's not terribly cheap. I can't believe what I paid for a single one of these. Maybe about $2.50, $3. It's not crazy. You go into the import aisle and you go to the British section and it's going to be about the same for everything. It's not so minutely distributed that it's super expensive. And so because you're paying your average UK import price, I'm going to recommend it on the price. Now, next is distinction. How distinct is it from other porters? I mean, most porters you're going to have generally the same basic flavors to it. You might get a little whiskey cask in there or something. But for the most part, you can almost always expect the darker chocolate coffee kind of thing going on. With that said, this alcohol content I think is lighter than a lot of them. It's a little more watery than a lot of them. It's much easier to drink. But sometimes with the porter you want something, at least for me, maybe something that you can just kind of sip on, where it's a step under the whiskey, so you can drink it a little faster, but it's still to the point where you can just kind of sip, and enjoy it. This is more of a stout almost, a light stout where you just drink it quickly. And so because of that, even though it is a little bit distinctive because of that, it's not necessarily a distinction that I'm looking for, and so I'm probably going to give it a half for that. But I don't know, maybe you're into that kind of thing. Next is drinkability, how many of these can I drink, and usually you're not going to try to just guzzle porters all night, unless you drink one or two, but this is something you could probably drink a couple without having a problem, again because it's lighter and the alcohol content isn't high on it. So because of that, I'm going to recommend it on, yes, the drinkability. Now, final category is would I buy it again, and to be honest, I'm not like a big porter fan. I don't really keep porters in the house. If I did, I might keep this around. Sometimes you want the heavier, just kind of sip and sniff kind of porter, and sometimes maybe you just want this, where you can crack it open and watch some, winter sports or something like that. So, I'm kind of I'd buy it again. So it's to the point I would buy it again if I felt like a porter and not a heavy one. So for the most part, this is a really well received beer. It's nice. It's nice around the edges, got some nice flavor, a little watery, but sometimes that's alright for a porter. Porters can kind of take some watering down from time to time. But that is the review of my Fuller's London Porter. If you've had it before, let me know in the comments. Maybe you think it's amazing, maybe you think it's terrible, let me know. But feel free to follow me on Two Dudes Podcast, or check out the podcast at Two Dudes in a Six Pack. And that is about it for the review. So for myself and for the Fuller's London Porter, rich, dark, and complex, take it easy.